Hey, everybody. Welcome to Meddkit's Provider Spotlight, where we interview some of the most amazing private practices from all over the country. And today we have a friendly face from the West Coast. We have Manami Yamamoto from Blue Humming Therapy. Manami, welcome. We're so excited to have you.
Yeah, Rachel, thank you so much for having me. I'm so glad to be here.
Same here. We're super excited to hear more about Blue Humming and everything that got going on. But maybe before we dive into that, tell us your story a little bit. What inspired you to open up your own practice and your nonprofit?
Yeah, so what prompted me to do both private practice and a nonprofit work is the belief I have about the mental health. So I think there are two things very important for mental health. So one thing is like we all need like a private, safe space to walk through our own emotion. Yes, because we need a space where we can just be ourselves and understand our own emotions. So that's the one thing like I'm doing through the private practice. But I also think our environment is really like, plays a big role in our mental health. So like the environment, the community where we live in really affect our mental health. Right. So we are individual person, but at the same time, our environment really affect our mental health too. So we are part of the collectiveness, like culture, the society or community.
Yeah, no, I love that you said that. I don't, you know what, Manami, a lot of people have not talked, and I've had a lot of people come on the show, but environment. And I
Mm.
think that it's such a great thing to talk about. I mean, you know how you feel. I mean, totally different, but when you walk into your house, your apartment, or wherever you're living, and it's like all clean, right? You just got it cleaned or you cleaned it, and you're like, oh, this feels so great, and you feel so free. What conversely on the other side, going into someone's place to get counseling services or any type of services for mental health, and you walk in and it feels, I can relax, I can open up, I feel safe. And I love that you said that, because it can maybe dictate how much you share, or how much you feel good about yourself. So I love that.
Yes, thank you so much for acknowledgement. Yes, I really think environment is so important for us. So when I support our, clients and community, so I always consider those like, private stuff and also environment aspect. So because that's really important for our mental health. So through the nonprofit work, because it's more than individual, so we have more force to change or improve the environment, working with many people, many organizations, or more communities. So that's why like I keep both private practice and then nonprofit work.
That's amazing. And what, in terms of maybe both in private practice and Blue Humming, the nonprofit, what do you find in the population that you serve the most? What do you find that they're struggling with? Who do you work with? And what do you find are like the top major things that you feel like you're addressing on a week by week basis?
Yes, so the population I serve is very diverse, but especially focus on underserved minority communities like race, cultural minorities, socioeconomic minorities, gender, age, religion, or physical ability. And then, as you know, we have more mental health support in US these days, especially after COVID. But when you look closely at the statistics, there are many minorities that are still underserved because of their background or because of their restriction, stigma, or sometimes they don't even aware they actually need a mental health support. So
Yeah.
bringing those awareness is very important to work with those underserved communities. And then as the therapist, so I always try to find out what's blocking them from getting mental health support and then what is the best approach to help them. So that's the kind of struggling, challenging, but also very rewarding working as a therapist.
Yeah, that's really great. I love how you didn't just say, well, I find that people are struggling with X, Y, and Z. They're actually struggling with sometimes just coming in the door and you're having to kind of cycle through, okay, what's really behind even that, And so you're slowly peeling back their onion to figure out, okay, there's a lot of layers here. I'm in maybe an underserved community working with some minorities and kind of working with them on some of that, hesitation at first, which I love, which is that feels so welcoming. It's so nice.
And I really appreciate, so you mentioned about the layers because sometimes people don't even realize they have a layers yet. But yes, so because people have so many layers to receive the mental health support. So that's why we start understanding what kind of layers they have and where they're coming from.
Yeah. And, speaking of that, kind of everything that you just said, your approach is very welcoming, it's warm. What would you also say that's maybe different about your approach and what other modalities do you use to help people?
Yes. So again, finding out their blogs at the beginning is very important. And also, it's very important to understand where they are in their journey. So there is no one approach for everyone. Yes, because we don't know where they're coming from. So that's why just I try to find out the, best approach for them. And it's not just the one way providing from therapists. It's more like co-creating the best mental health support system for them. So that is very important for us to work with those minorities or underserved communities.
That's awesome. And would you say there is maybe a misconception about what you do? I think a lot of people, they think certain things about mental health or therapy or anything like that. Do you find with the population that you serve that you have to do things differently and maybe um, things that you wouldn't think to help, you know, facilitate, and
Yeah.
help get that person in the door?
Yes. So sometimes for example, if I tell those underserved minority clients to come to my office for talk therapy and I ask them to talk about their emotion, they feel so scary and oftentimes they never come back to therapy in the future.
Wow.
Yes, because of their stigma, because their cultural or community expectation. So they kind of have a program, to come to the therapy again. So in that case, sometimes I provide nonverbal therapy, like express art therapy, instead of traditional talk therapy, or provide psychoeducation because psychoeducation can help to reduce their resistance to seek the therapy. So, or suggest group therapy with group instead of one-on-one therapy.
That's very cool. I love that. I think, yeah, a lot of people that have different cultures, some more than others, it is more stigmatized than others. And I'm sure they get a lot of generational, I don't know what to call that, but like some type of generational just overwhelm, like
Yes.
something from their parents or something else, and they're afraid to say something, but they need the help. And that's not what they're supposed to do. And I love that you have given them all these different avenues to be able to, come, still get some kind of support. We don't need to call it therapy or whatever, but you're still getting maybe the help that you need.
Yes, yes. So there's no one, the one way, but it's more like a mutual way, like a two-way to create the best approach. But we don't decide the approach. We kind of figure out so what's the best for them, and then from there, so we help to clients and to navigate, make sure they feel safe to receive the mental health support.
Yeah, I think that's really incredible and super, super smart because, of course, like a lot of people might say, just go get the help. But then there's all these barriers. What are you waiting for? What are you waiting for? But like, you know, there is so much, you're scared, you don't know what this is going to be about. You're scared to uncover what may be laying underneath those layers that you're going to uncover. And so people might be doing that for the first time, and understandably, that is very nerve-wracking. And so I do love your very calm and very nice environment to come into, and safe environment. I love that you keep saying that and trying to really drill that into the people that are listening because that's number one. If you don't feel safe while having a session, I don't think the person's going to open up or get that much out of it or come back.
Right.
I think that's great. So, out of curiosity, as a clinician, you talked about maybe using some technology or doing group therapy or, being online in some aspect. How does using technology and mental health benefit people?
Mhm. Yeah, I think that there are two big major benefits using the online therapy. So first one is, of course, like, we can increase accessibility through the online therapy. But before, like, people cannot come to the therapy office because of transportation or location where they are living, a work schedule, or life, condition, or a physical condition. So those people can access to therapy because of the online service. So that's the, one of the biggest, like, benefits using the online therapy. But working with minorities and underserved communities, I find like another big benefit too. So online therapy can provide more like privacy at the level of comfort to our clients. So instead of they need to jump to the therapy at the office, so they can take times to access to mental health support and they receive the therapy from their comfort house, right? So we can give them like a little smaller step to get used to receive the mental health support, and the online can help to do that. So in terms of helping those underserved minority communities, I find like a great opportunity using the online because of that reason.
I love that. I think your biggest theme throughout is like, where can I meet you? Where are you most comfortable? Because I just want you to get the help, whichever we can call it whatever you want, but where do you feel comfortable? And I love that, being online makes things accessible. There's things that I wouldn't have even thought about, someone maybe with a physical condition where they can't easily make it to your office or, they do have a hectic schedule and you're able to fit them in. And so I think it's so wonderful that, technology has provided us this great sanctuary online and that you can meet people from they can meet you from anywhere and still feel really good, so I love that you're providing that.
Yes. And I can see like a clients can be very creative using the online therapy because sometimes like a client say like can I just screen off to talk at the beginning, or some people kind of want to change the background and try to encourage themselves to join the therapy. Or I have experienced some clients requested like she wants to use some virtual character to join the therapy at the beginning because she is so afraid to, show her face. But, you know, people can be very, very creative using the online. So I see a lot of benefit around that.
I love that. I haven't heard about that before. And but I love that because it's it's just I think a part of being a really great therapist is just meeting that person with where they are, and that could be at the very bottom of their journey, chapter one, verse one, that's it. That's all we have. But then you can take them and maybe over time, instead of the character or camera off, they'll be comfortable enough to show their face and you'll see progress. And I think just even getting them there and whatever which way they feel comfortable, I think that's awesome. And I love that you're so accepting of that and you've had all this great experience with all these different people online and their comfortability level. I think it's probably taught you a great deal, going through that yourself too.
Yes. So clients decide their chapter one, not the therapist.
Yeah, I love that. I love it. So before we wrap up today, because this has been amazing and you're just so wonderful, Manami. What
Thank you.
are a few easy tips or common homework that you might give a client? Is there something that we can do personally today to better our mental health for tomorrow?
Well, I actually get asked that question a lot from my clients. Yes, I understand like everybody wants to get some tips to improve their mental health. But there is no one single answer for that because what works for me is not necessarily working for you. So
Mhm.
because everybody's so unique.
Yeah.
But one thing I can give tips today might be like, I can encourage everyone to listen to their inner voice because your inner voice is your like, personal guide. So just like listen to your inner voice, how you feel and how your body is feeling. And that's actually really good self-care. Like they understand their emotion and their body feelings. And then that thing is really help you to make you feel better or help you to understand what is the best healing for them. So my advice is yes, please pay attention to your emotion and the body sensing, and then that can be the good start
That's
to improve your
amazing.
mental health.
I love that. I think, you know, everyone's guilty of it. We are all busy and we're like, go, 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 go all the time. But we don't take a second to kind of realize where we're at. Oh, does like my neck hurt today? Have I been, too long at
Mhm.
the computer or I'm feeling stressed out now because my neck hurts and I've been too long at the computer and I have lots of emails to still do, all those type of things. But I love that you said to listen to your inner voice and just even recognize where you're at and maybe just take that first step to recognize and to
Yeah.
take notice. And I think that's really smart because I think a lot of us like to skip over that part, including me, and just say, okay, we're just going to go on to the next thing. We're not going to take care of ourselves. And I love that you said that that was a part of self care. To notice is a part of self care. And I think a lot of people don't notice that.
Yes. So people think they're the answer at somewhere, but the answer is in your inside of you. So I really encourage everybody to listen to their inner voice.
Manami, that is such a great way to leave off our conversation today. But one last thing, before we end today, is there a way that people can touch base with you or your practice or Blue Humming if they have more questions or would like to chat with you?
Yes, so we have an organization website, so everybody can check the website, or I have my personal website too. So if anybody interested, so they can check, my website as well.
Perfect. Well, we will link that in the bio, and we are so glad that we had you today, and just really appreciate your time, your knowledge, and most importantly, your care for other people.
Yeah, thank you so much. Can I say one thing at the
Yeah.
end? Yeah, before we had a chat before this interview, so I asked you why you provide your service, and then you said because you really value professional work at the private practice setting, and you respect what we do for the
Yeah.
client communities. And then, so because that's why, so you want to help us. And I was so touched by that. And yeah, so I really appreciate, what you do and your commitment to help us. So thank you so much. I really want to appreciate what you do.
Thank you so much, Manami. That is so nice. Wow, I am speechless. Yeah, I mean, the reason why we do this is we really believe in privatized healthcare and we believe in everything. It is so hard to start a business, a nonprofit, and just help people. It is just so hard. And we just want to be able to give people a voice to share with us for us to help them in any way possible. So, thank you so
Yes.
much for saying that.
Yeah, I know like you didn't have an intention to talk about yourself, but I really want to acknowledge because you're doing such a great, support for us. So thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Manamini. It was so awesome to have you today, and we hope to have you again.
Thank you so much. I really enjoyed talking to you. Thank you.
Thank you.